Oh my gosh, y'all. I just stepped outside and it is just gorgeous out here. It's almost like we skipped spring and went straight into summer, but we've got a little bit of, what is it, March winds? I'm loving it though, I'm not complaining. Wouldn't trade it for anything. It's just so beautiful out here. Even the winds, it doesn't have a chilly bite. It's a warm wind, you know. Coming out here to peek at my garden. We've been getting some rain the last couple of days. So I wanted to come down here and look and see what my baby plants are doing. I'll show you. I have been leaving my greenhouse open, the flap open, because it's just been such nice weather. But the flap keeps on wanting to fly back in there. Let me show y'all. Chinese pink celery is taking off like wildfire, y'all. I mean, look at that. It's doing so good and having new growth. You can see that like pinkish on the side leaves. Now this bed has some irises in it. Y'all can see them throughout, but it's no big deal because the celery will just grow around it. And I've got some volunteer plants right here. I can't decide on what they are. I want to say sunflowers maybe, but then they kind of look like, there's one right there too. They kind of look like cucumbers. My Easter bush is in full bloom. I bought this probably about a year or two ago. It has taken it some time to take off, but it's getting there. I probably need to stake it. And then I mulched around my blueberry bush. As you can see, we've got some new life coming on there. Ain't that beautiful? Look at there. I had some pine needles left from last year, and I put it around the blueberry bush. Blueberry bushes love acidic soil, and pine needles, when they break down, they have acidic in them, and they won't leave like a whole lot of acidic, but it will add to the bed there. I'm not too sure about this little guy right here though. This is my blackberry bush, but I don't see any growth on it. I'm kind of worried that I probably done lost that one, so I might have to go back and get me another one this year. I don't think it made it. I finally got around to planting the rest of my pink Chinese celery. I was able to sell 8 cups of it, but the rest of it, I guess because it's just something that people don't ordinarily hear about, I didn't get any bites for the rest of it. Probably would be good when the farmer's market opens up and I can have a table where, you know, I can have some plant starts set up. They would probably sell better, but I just took a go at it. No big deal though, because like I said, our family loves celery. So I got these bad boys in the ground. I decided to do it around this bed right here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This bed right here is a raised bed in the ground. It was here when we moved here. Decided to do it along the borders. I did it on the sides and then going all the way down and then to the other side. They're doing pretty good. I'm gonna probably put some flowers in the middle of this bed, and then at the bottom I probably will put my squash and zucchini in. But they are looking super good. I had hardened them off, so they have not wilted or anything. They have done very, very good. And it helped too that I'd done it in a few days that it was overcast and some rain showers. So they are doing wonderful, and we'll have tons of celery. I can't wait. all of my cabbages and Brussels sprouts, and broccoli's doing good. They're getting new growth on them. You can tell right here in the center of that one. So they are doing good, growing well. I'm super excited to show y'all this bed. I haven't showed y'all this bed in a while. This was the one I planted in first. It's probably been maybe about 3 weeks ago, and the stuff is finally starting to come up where you can kind of see it better. And that's the reason why I hadn't showed it yet, because you really couldn't see it because the little plants were so tiny. So check this out. This right here is my different mix of the kale, and I've got several of them in the bed, as you can tell. I sowed these more in like a line form, but I had, when it rained, it pushed quite a few of them back through here, but that's fine because I can just thin that out if I need to. These are my bok choy. They are supposed to take off within 30 days, so they should be ready. And the same thing for my radishes. They won't take long to be able to eat. And this one right here is my lettuce bed. And I randomly just threw these out all over. I got a mixture. You can see like some purples and some greens. It's just a mixture. And then my kohlrabi is back here, and it's starting to come out. Now this one, I cannot remember for the life of me what I put in this one, so I didn't mark it, so it's gonna be like a total surprise when it starts coming up. I love surprises though, so that'll be kind of cool. And then my carrots, they're coming up. I'm super excited to see those new babies coming up. Happy born day to them. I love to see in the spring just plants flourishing. The green on the trees is different too. It's like got that fluorescent like neon green to it. It's just like this very vibrant green. I love that color. And then as the weeks go by and the growth has been established, it turns into a darker green. It's just beautiful. And then the flowers blooming on the trees. We've got some here on this hedge line. I'm not quite sure what they are. They look like wild cherry or like Bradford pear trees. Let me show y'all. See them peeping around those pine trees. It's really, really, really pretty. They're white, gorgeous. As bad as I hate to do this, I'm gonna go inside. I got something in the mail that I've been looking forward to, and it finally arrived. And it's something that I need to make, and I just haven't had a hot minute to do it. I'm gonna take y'all along with me and share this experience with y'all because I have never made this before. I'll give you a hint. We're doing another fermenting process. I thought while I was talking to y'all about what we're going to get ready to ferment, I would go ahead and, oh, that wind is really blowing. I don't know if y'all heard that. I'm going to go ahead and wash this big gallon jar out with some hot soapy water to kind of sanitize it. Today we're going to be making some kombucha tea. And for those of you that do not know what kombucha tea is, it's a fermented drink. It's naturally much like a carbonated beverage. If you think about sodas and how it's got that fizz and bubble to it, that's kind of what it's similar to. It has tea, water, and sugar, and healthy bacteria and yeast. The bacteria and the yeast are things that work together to ferment the beverage. Very easy to make. And I like it because you can make different varieties of different flavorings for the tea. I'm not going to get into that today because, like I said, this is the first time I've ever made it. We're just going to do simple today. But it's good for soft drink alternatives. I will tell you, I do not have like a sweet tooth like most people do, but I had a tendency to go towards sodas. And that's where I was getting all my sugar from. I quit drinking sodas probably about 4 or 5 months ago. I just completely stopped. They're not good for you. It's got all that sugar in it. And so this is just more of a healthy alternative to drinking sodas. And I really enjoy the different flavors. The biggest reason kombucha has gained the popularity because it's got a lot of health benefits. It has a number of probiotics that help the digestive issues with your gut. It has antibiotics which help remove toxins in your body. It's got a great source of B vitamin, which helps the body in numerous ways. And it's low in sugar and calorie and sodium. Plus, it's a great way to lose weight, which everybody can stand to lose a little weight, right? So now that we got this washed out real good, I'm going to go in here and rinse it off with some hot water. Make sure I get all the soapy suds out of it. And I'm going to get a clean towel to set this on. Okay, so now my filtered water is at a boil. I don't know if y'all can see it. Y'all can see the steam coming off of it. I'm going to take the 8 bags that they gave me and put them in here and let them steep for 7. It said on the directions, let me see, make sure I read that, 7 to 10 minutes. So we're going to throw these bad boys in here. And it says also in the directions, which I read this in that book I was reading as well. You can play around with how much sugar you put in it, how much tea you put in it. Some people might not want 8 bags of tea. They might want 4 bags of tea. Some people might not want a cup of sugar. They might want half a cup of sugar. So it's just to your preference how you want to do it. That's the joy of kombucha. You can make it any way you want to. Step 1 we've already done. We've boiled our filtered water. 4 cups is what was recommended to do, and we removed it from the heat and we added the tea bag. So I'm gonna put a timer on. I'll probably aim for 7 minutes and see how that does, how cool it is. You don't want it completely cooled off, but you want it cooled off enough probably to where you can, you know, strain your tea bags. Okay, so while we're letting that cool, I'm going to pull the gallon jug down here. I'm going to just wrap it around this cloth so I don't touch it with my hands, even though my hands are clean. You just want to keep it from getting contaminated or unsanitized in this process of making the kombucha tea. We're going to grab the container here. Let's see if I can push y'all back a little bit. There we go. And I am going to get another towel because I don't want to touch this. And flip this over. There we go. Throw this in the trash. So step number 3 tells us to peel and stick temperature strip to the outside of the glass brew jar. So we're going to peel and stick. And I'm probably going to just put mine dead center. Right about here. Okay. So I've got my temperature gauge on my jar. Okay, Okay, so there goes my timer. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit that. I got me 2 metal spoons, and I'm just gonna take the tea bags and I'm going to mush them with this. That way I don't have to touch them and contaminate my brew. I'll push this down. Set this over in my composting bowl. Tea bags are really good to put in your compost and in your garden. It breaks down and adds nutrients back into your soil. Ooh, this is hot. Hot, hot, hot. I like to try to mash mine and get all that I can get out of it. Okay, I'm gonna put the spoons over here in the sink. So we already have our 4 cups of filter water bowled, and we steeped the tea bags for 7 minutes. They said 7 to 10 minutes. We did 7. It says while the tea is still warm, you're going to remove the tea bags, which is what we did. And now we're going to add the sugar and stir it in until it's dissolved. So it's basically like making tea. And I know all you people out there have made some tea before. If you hadn't, you don't know what you're missing. We're going to put this in here. And I'll just use these wooden spoons and stir it up until it dissolves. Alright, so while I'm stirring, let's see what else it says. Okay, so once we get it stirred up and it dissolved, we've done put our temperature strip on there. That's step 3, and then the rest of step 3 says to pour sweet tea mixture into the fermenting jar. Fill the jar with approximately 8 cups of cold filtered water until jar is 3/4 full. Leave enough space to add your SCOBY and starter liquid after tea cools to room temperature. Alright, so I think this is stirred pretty good. I'll set this over here. I'm going to switch my jar over here. I'm going to pour this in here. Are y'all like me? I like read directions and then I went half my tea. That was not good. Oh, good thing I had towels down, right? I read my directions 2 or 3 times because I want to make sure I get it right. So I have got to go get some filtered water. I'll be right back. All right, so it says to put, let me make sure, pour tea mixture into fermenting jar, fill jar with approximately 8 cups of cold filtered water until jar is 3/4 full. So that's what we're going to do. This measuring cup does 4 cups, so I'm going to have to fill it up twice. This time, let's try not to spill it. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to have quite enough. I'm going to go get another jar of this filtered water. I was just shy just a little bit. I'm sorry that my head is being cut off in this video. The way my kitchen is laid out, it's kind of hard to get an angle right where I can get it in and get in what I'm doing as well. So we're going to pour this in. Then it says, leave enough space to add your SCOBY and starter liquid after tea cools to room temperature. So I've got about that much space, so that's plenty of space for my SCOBY. I'm going to check the temperature. I don't know if you guys can see. Probably not. But it says it's 84 degrees. So we're going to wait just a little bit longer maybe. for it to cool down just a tad bit more, and then I'll get back with y'all. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I had to go change my shirt real quick. I had went outside while the tea was cooling, and I had went in the coop to check on the girls and Ruru, and Winnie decided to pay me a visit, and she got my shirt dirty, so I had to change my shirt real quick. So we're going to go ahead and continue on the process of the kombucha tea. I figured I'd try this angle. One of these days, I'm going to get an angle to where it'll be a little bit better. I think this angle is a little bit better, so I just had to slide some things to the side. I came back in, and it says on here that it says it's 80 degrees on this thermometer. But the tea seems really cool to me. Your room temperature is anywhere from 68 to 72 degrees. The thing with when you get ready to add your SCOBY in, you want to make sure that the tea is not too hot, because if it is, it can kill your SCOBY, and that's not good. But I dipped my finger into this, which I probably shouldn't have done, but I washed my hands before I done it. And it's cool, so I don't know if the strip is not working right or what, but we're going to go ahead and continue to go to the next step of the process. Step 3, we did the filling it up. I'm just going to go back over. We filled it up with 8 cups of filtered water. So we got the 3/4 space where the SCOBY can go in. So we're going to get to step 4. So it says, once liquid is cooled to room temperature, add entire starter liquid and SCOBY culture. Stir gently with a clean metal spoon to ensure starter liquid is assimilated, and cover jar with a cloth and secure with rubber band. Do not cover with jar lid, as this will prevent proper ventilation. Okay, so let me get my scissors over here, and I'm gonna open this up. I gotta get me a metal spoon as well. So I'm gonna open this up. And basically, they have a SCOBY in here, inside of here. And the liquid that's around the SCOBY is part of a kombucha tea that was made prior. And so you always want to leave a little bit of your tea left from your first kombucha fermenting tea, so that you can add it with your new SCOBY into your second fermenting batch. I hope that makes sense to y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and get my metal spoon. I know I've got a big one in here somewhere. This big metal spoon in here forever in a day, and I cannot find it. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it's in the other drawer. Let me go look. Apparently my metal spoon walked off. It has legs. It's done disappeared, so I just got this plastic long spoon that I got. Hope that doesn't make any difference. Let me reach over here and get the SCOBY. It just made me go all to pieces because I couldn't find it. I don't know where it went. We're going to go ahead and cut this open and pour it into the jar without touching it. Okay, now your SCOBY, it might float to the top. It might sink to the bottom, but that's okay. Don't stress about that. That's practically normal. Eventually, as it starts to ferment, I'm gonna go ahead and stir this up on top of y'all. As it starts to ferment, it will make a new layer on top of the SCOBY that you can peel off and stick into your second fermenting batch. And over time, the SCOBY will keep on continuing to make layer after layer, so you'll get multiple layers, and If you got a friend that wants to try to make kombucha tea, you can give them some of your extra SCOBY babies, or just keep them and you can make several kombucha tea batches at a time, just depending on what you want to do with it. Now that we stirred the SCOBY with the starter tea mix into the tea brew mix that we made earlier, we're gonna go ahead and take your cheesecloth. Well, this is not really cheesecloth, it's kind of like a thin material. You can use cheesecloth, you can use coffee filters, anything that's gonna allow a little air to let the kombucha breathe. I'm gonna put that on top, and we're just gonna put this rubber band, make sure it's kind of tight. I'm gonna put that on top like that. So step 5, we're gonna set the jar aside to brew. We gotta keep it out of direct sunlight in a warm, well-ventilated location, preferably between 70 to 78 for the best results. Do not disturb for 7 to 9 days while fermenting. Then begin taste testing every few days until you achieve your ideal flavor. Okay, gently work around the newly formed culture with a clean utensil to taste the brew. It says newer brewers can take up to 14 to 21 days to ferment. And here's a tip. Okay, so now this is where the pH strips come in that I was telling y'all about, that I liked about this. It says use the indicated pH test strips after the first 7 days to ensure brew levels remain between 2 to 4 for best results. Higher pH levels will be sweeter. Lower pH will have a sour taste. The longer your kombucha ferments, the more acidic and less sweeter it will become. Okay? So, me personally, I would want more of a sweeter taste. So, I'm going to make sure mine has like a higher pH. So, I really like the fact that it did come with these test strips, since I am new to making the kombucha. And then, you know, eventually I'll be able to know by what it tastes like. But right now I want to use the test strips to help me judge it, because I just don't know if I would be comfortable in judging it just myself right offhand, you know. Now that we've gotten our kombucha tea made, I'm going to use this nifty little thing that they gave me, and I'm going to mark at the top, it says batch name. I'm going to name it batch number 1 because it's my first one. It says the starting date, so I'm going to put the starting date on here. And then it says type of tea and sugar. So we put cane sugar, and it was a mixture of black tea and green tea. So I'm going to put that. And then my pH test and etc. I'm going to leave blank. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick it on the jar. I'm going to show y'all what that looks like. So I think that's pretty neat to have that on there. I don't know if that will peel and stick on different jars at a time. I'm not quite sure, but we'll see over time. I hope y'all really enjoyed doing this with me. I was really nervous about coming on here and sharing this with y'all, but that's what this channel is all about. Sharing things that I know about and sharing things that I don't know about, and just experiencing that with other people is awesome. Yes, it can be embarrassing sometimes, but then sometimes it can be really humbling, and it can just encourage other people to have the confidence in trying new things. A lot of people, they don't tend to try new things because they're scared that it's not going to turn out right, or it's not going to be exactly what they thought it was going to be or whatever. But you don't never know until you try. So I encourage y'all today, if there's something out there that you've been wanting to try out, but you've been nervous and afraid about, go out there and do it. You know, we only have one life, you know, and not saying go out there and do anything crazy or anything, but you know, just things like this. You know, I'm making a fermenting tea. You know, I enjoy the tea. When you go out in the stores, the tea is so expensive. Like, you can get a jar about that big for $3 or $4. Whereas if I can learn how to make it at home, I can make it bigger quantity and pay less. So why wouldn't I want to try it? So don't be afraid to experience new things in life. Philippians 4:13 tells us in the Bible, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So, you know, talk to God about it. Let him know your feelings. Tell him, look, Lord, I'm very nervous about trying this out. This is all new to me. But please give me the confidence to excel in what I'm doing. And, you know, you're going to have some good turnouts and you're going to have some flops. But I'd rather experience life and doing stuff that is new to me and taking a chance on it than to not ever do it and wonder how it could have been if I had at least tried. I hope that y'all enjoyed this today. I sure did, and I will check back with y'all later to let y'all know how it turned out. And then if I get super good with this, I might do some experimenting. I had seen that there are different types that you can add fruit to. You can replace the sugar with fruit. So there's just an abundance of different things that you can do with kombucha tea. If y'all enjoyed this video, like it, share it, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell to let you know when I have a new video up. We'll see y'all soon. Until next time, y'all have a great and wonderful day.